Success is not an accident. It doesn't just happen to the lucky few or the chosen ones. Every remarkable achievement you've ever admired, every thriving business, every world-class athlete, every inspiring leader was built on decisions, habits, and actions that anyone can learn and apply. The truth is, luck may open a door, but it's discipline, strategy, and persistence that walk you through it. Too many people sit back and wait, hoping their big break will magically appear. They believe success is something external, granted by fate or chance. But here's the reality. If you rely on luck, you'll be waiting forever. Success isn't about waiting, it's about creating. It's about becoming the kind of person who wins no matter the circumstances. In this audiobook, we will uncover the timeless principles that separate those who merely dream from those who achieve. You'll learn how to build unshakable self-belief, master the habits that shape your future, and turn obstacles into opportunities. These lessons aren't theory, they're battle-tested strategies used by those who refuse to leave their future to chance. You'll discover how to take full responsibility for your life, outwork and outsmart the competition, and create lasting momentum that carries you to the top. Most importantly, you'll realize that everything you need to win is already within your control. This is your roadmap to a life of purpose, power, and success without relying on luck. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Decide to win before you start. Every great journey begins with a single defining decision. Before you build a business, before you run a marathon, before you change your life, you must first decide that you are going to win. That decision might sound simple, but it's the foundation of everything that comes after. Without it, you'll drift, you'll hesitate, and you'll give up the moment things get hard. Think about it. How many people start something, maybe a new job, a new habit, or a big dream, without ever fully committing? They say things like, "I'll try my best," or "I hope it works out." Those aren't the words of someone who has decided to win. They're the words of someone who has left the back door open, ready to escape the moment challenges arise. When you truly decide, you close that door. You tell yourself, "This is it. I'm in this until I win, no matter how long it takes." That kind of clarity changes everything. It sharpens your focus. It gives you strength when the obstacles come, because there will be obstacles. Here's the truth. The world will test you. It will ask, "How badly do you want this?" And if your decision isn't rock solid, you'll crumble. But if you've already decided, really decided, you'll push through the pain, the fear, and the doubt. You won't waste time wondering if you should keep going. You'll just keep going. Think about some of the greatest achievers in history. They didn't stumble into success by accident. Before they became legends, they made a private, personal decision that they were going to win. It wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, but it was unshakable. That decision gave them the power to face rejection, failure, and endless setbacks without quitting. You must make that same decision for yourself. And here's the thing, no one else can make it for you. Not your friends, not your family, not your mentors. This is between you and you. It's about drawing a line in the sand and saying, "From this day forward, I will do whatever it takes to succeed." Maybe you've been holding back because you're afraid to fail. Maybe you've been waiting for the perfect moment. But there is no perfect moment. There is only now. Decide today. Decide that no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times you fall, you will get back up and keep moving forward. When you make that decision, you step into a new version of yourself. You stop living like a victim of chance and start living like a creator of your future. That is the first step on the proven path to success, a clear, unwavering decision to win before you even begin. Because once you decide, truly decide, nothing, no setback, no failure, no circumstance can stop you. Chapter 2. Build unshakable self-belief. Before you can win in the world, You must first win inside yourself. Every action you take, every risk you embrace, and every challenge you face will be shaped by one thing: your belief in yourself. If you don't believe you can do it, you won't even try. And if you do try without belief, you'll quit at the first sign of difficulty. Think about it. Success doesn't begin with resources, connections, or even talent. It begins with belief. Some of the most successful people in history started with nothing: no money, no advantages, no powerful friends. What they did have was a deep conviction that they could make it happen, even when nobody else believed in them. Here's the problem most people face. They've been conditioned to doubt themselves. Maybe it was a teacher who told them they weren't smart enough. Maybe it was a parent who said their dreams were unrealistic. Or maybe it was years of failure and disappointment that slowly chipped away at their confidence. Over time, they started to believe those negative voices. And now, whenever they think about taking action, that inner critic whispers, "Why bother? You'll never make it." If that sounds familiar, you need to know this: self-belief isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. It's like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it becomes. And just like a muscle, if you neglect it, it weakens. So how do you build it? You start by challenging the lies you've been telling yourself. Every time that voice of doubt appears, you confront it with truth. When it says, "You can't do this," you answer, "Yes, I can. And here's why." You remind yourself of your strengths, of the challenges you've already overcome, of the times you've surprised even yourself with what you were capable of. Another powerful way to build belief is through small wins. Don't underestimate the power of progress, no matter how small. When you keep promises to yourself, when you set a goal and follow through, you send a powerful message to your subconscious: I can trust myself. Over time, those small victories add up. They create momentum. They rewrite the story you've been telling yourself. Surrounding yourself with the right environment matters too. If you're constantly around people who doubt you, who mock your dreams, or who settle for mediocrity, their negativity will rub off on you. Seek out people who lift you up, who challenge you to grow, and who believe in possibilities, even when things seem impossible. Sometimes, borrowing someone else's belief in you is the first step toward developing your own. But let's be real, building self-belief isn't about walking around shouting affirmations while ignoring reality. It's about developing a quiet, unshakable confidence. The kind that doesn't need to be announced. The kind that stays steady, even when things go wrong. Because here's the truth: you will fail. You will face rejection. You will have moments when everything seems to fall apart. That's inevitable. But when you've built real belief, those moments won't destroy you. They'll simply become part of the journey. Think about a mountain climber, halfway up a steep slope. If they don't believe they can reach the top, every slip of the foot feels like the end. But if they have unshakable belief, they'll keep climbing no matter how many times they fall, because they've already decided they're going to make it. That's the difference belief makes. It doesn't remove the obstacles, it gives you the strength to keep moving through them. You must also understand this: belief grows through action. You can't sit around waiting to feel confident before you start. Confidence is built by doing, by taking one step, even when you're scared, by proving to yourself, again and again, that you are stronger than your doubts. Every time you act, your belief grows, and the more you believe, the more you act. This creates a powerful upward spiral that leads to extraordinary results. So as you move forward on this journey, make a decision today to start building unshakable self-belief. Refuse to let the opinions of others define you. Refuse to let past failures dictate your future. Replace the story of "I can't" with a story of "I will." Because here's the truth: no one else can believe for you. This is your responsibility, your choice, and your power. When you believe in yourself deeply, and unconditionally, you become unstoppable. The world may doubt you, circumstances may challenge you, but nothing can shake the foundation you've built inside. And once you have that kind of belief, luck becomes irrelevant. You don't need it, because you've built the inner strength to create your own destiny. Chapter 3. Take full responsibility for your life. If there's one moment that separates people who succeed from those who stay stuck, it's the moment they take full responsibility for their lives. Not partial responsibility. Not some things are my fault, but the rest is out of my control. Full responsibility. Because until you own everything in your life, the good, the bad, and everything in between, you'll always have an excuse to stay where you are. It's tempting to point fingers when things go wrong. Maybe you didn't get the promotion because your boss didn't like you. Maybe your business failed because the market wasn't ready. Maybe your health is suffering because you don't have time to exercise. It's easy to believe those stories because they let you off the hook. If it's someone else's fault, you don't have to change. You can stay comfortable. But here's the truth. Blaming others feels good in the moment, yet it steals your power. Think of it this way. If someone else is responsible for your situation, then they're the only one who can fix it. That means you're powerless. But when you take full ownership, you put yourself back in the driver's seat. You're no longer waiting for permission, luck, or outside circumstances to improve. You become the one who makes it happen. That's where real freedom begins. This doesn't mean everything that happens is your fault. Life will throw challenges at you that you didn't choose: loss, illness, unexpected hardships. But even in those moments, you are responsible for how you respond. You can't control the storm, but you can control how you navigate through it. That's the essence of personal power. Not control over the world, but control over yourself. When you take full responsibility, something incredible happens. You stop wasting energy on complaints and excuses. Instead of saying, "Why did this happen to me?" you start asking, "What can I do about it?" That simple shift turns problems into opportunities. It turns you from a victim into a creator. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people lose their jobs on the same day. The first one blames the company, the economy, maybe even their co-workers. They sit at home, angry and bitter, waiting for things to magically get better. The second person, while upset, says, "This is on me now. I can't change what happened, but I can choose my next step." That person updates their skills, networks, applies for new opportunities, and maybe even starts a business of their own. 6 months later, who do you think is thriving? The difference isn't luck, it's responsibility. Taking full ownership can be uncomfortable, especially at first. It forces you to look at the areas where you've been avoiding the truth. Maybe you've been blaming your lack of progress on your past, your parents, your circumstances. Maybe you've been telling yourself, "If only I had more support, more time, more resources, then I'd succeed." But deep down, you know those are just stories. The moment you drop them, you step into a new level of power. This mindset also changes how you see failure. When you take responsibility, failure isn't the end, it's feedback. It's information you can use to grow. Instead of saying, "I failed because life is unfair," you say, "I failed because of my choices, and I can make better ones next time." That attitude keeps you moving forward when others quit. Here's something to remember. People who rely on luck or blame will always stay stuck. They'll wait for someone else to save them, to notice them, to hand them success. But people who take responsibility, they don't wait, they act, they build, they create their own opportunities. And over time, they become unstoppable. From this day forward, challenge yourself to eliminate blame from your vocabulary. Stop pointing outward and start looking inward. If something isn't working, Ask yourself, what can I do differently? If you face a setback, ask, what can I learn from this? It won't always be easy, but it will always move you closer to your goals. Taking full responsibility isn't about guilt or self-punishment. It's about empowerment. It's about saying, my life is mine to shape. My success is mine to build. Once you embrace that truth, you no longer need luck, because you've claimed the one thing that truly determines your future. Your choices. Remember, no one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to hand you the life you dream about. And that's not bad news. That's the best news you'll ever hear. Because it means you don't have to wait. You can start right now. Full responsibility isn't just the foundation of success. It's the ultimate form of freedom. Chapter 4. Master your habits. Master your future. Your future isn't built in one dramatic moment. It's shaped quietly, day by day, through the choices you make and the habits you repeat. If you want to know where you'll be in 5 years, don't look at your goals, look at your daily routines, because your habits will always tell the truth about your future. Here's the thing, success doesn't come from massive leaps. It comes from small, consistent actions that compound over time. Think of it like a bank account. Every positive habit is a deposit. Every negative habit is a withdrawal. Over time, those tiny deposits add up to wealth, or those withdrawals add up to debt. The difference between a successful life and a struggling life is what you choose to deposit each day. Most people don't realize how powerful their habits are because the effects aren't immediate. If you eat a donut today, you don't gain 10 pounds overnight. If you skip a workout, you don't instantly lose your strength. If you spend an extra hour scrolling on your phone, your dreams don't collapse that same day. The damage, or the progress, is invisible at first. But over weeks, months and years, it becomes undeniable. This is why habits are so tricky. Bad habits feel good in the moment, but create pain later. Good habits often feel uncomfortable in the moment, but create freedom later. It's a trade-off. You have to be willing to endure short-term discomfort for long-term rewards. That's the mark of someone who understands the game of success. Start by looking at your current routines with complete honesty. What do you do when you wake up? How do you spend the first hour of your day? What choices do you make when you're tired, stressed, or bored? These small repeated actions are either moving you closer to your goals or pulling you further away. There's no neutral ground. If you want to change your life, don't try to overhaul everything at once. That approach almost always fails. Instead, focus on 1 or 2 key habits that will have the biggest impact. Maybe it's waking up an hour earlier to work on your goals. Maybe it's exercising consistently to boost your energy and confidence. Maybe it's setting aside time each evening to plan your next day. Start small, master those, and then build from there. Another secret to mastering habits is to design your environment for success. Willpower is important, but it's not enough. If you're trying to eat healthier, but your kitchen is full of junk food, you're fighting a losing battle. If you want to write a book, but your phone keeps buzzing with notifications, you'll never get into deep focus. Make it easier to do the right thing and harder to do the wrong thing. Set yourself up to win. Remember, habits aren't just about what you do, they're about who you become. Every time you repeat a habit, you reinforce an identity. When you go for a run, you're not just exercising, you're becoming someone who values health and discipline. When you consistently save money, you're not just growing your bank account, you're becoming someone who takes control of their financial future. The actions shape the identity, and the identity fuels the actions. Of course, building new habits isn't always smooth. You will slip up. You will have days where you feel unmotivated. That's normal. The key is to never miss twice. If you fall off track today, get back on tomorrow. Don't let a small stumble turn into a full collapse. Progress is about persistence, not perfection. Think about it like planting a tree. At first the seed seems small and insignificant. It takes time before you even see results. But with consistent care, it grows stronger every day. Eventually it becomes unshakable, providing shade and fruit for years to come. That's what your habits can do for you, if you nurture them. So here's the challenge. Don't just dream about a better future. Build it, one habit at a time. Identify the small actions that, if repeated, will transform your life. Protect them, prioritize them, master them. Because when you master your habits, you don't just change what you do, you change who you are. And when you change who you are, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Your future is waiting, and it's built on the choices you make today. Chapter 5. Turn adversity into fuel. Life will test you. It's not a question of if, but when. No matter how carefully you plan, no matter how hard you work, you will face setbacks, disappointments, and painful moments. That's just part of the journey. And here's the hard truth. You don't get to choose whether challenges come your way, but you do get to choose what you do with them. Some people let adversity break them. They see hardship as proof that they're not meant to succeed. They take every obstacle personally, as if the universe is conspiring against them. Over time, they stop trying. They settle. They tell themselves, "This is just the way my life will always be." And in that moment, they hand their power over to circumstance. But others take a different path. Instead of being destroyed by adversity, they use it. They let pain sharpen them. Let setbacks teach them. Let difficulty become the fuel that drives them forward. They don't pretend the struggle doesn't hurt. They feel it. They acknowledge it. But then they channel it into action. And because of that, they grow stronger with every challenge they face. Think about the strongest, most inspiring people you know or have read about. Almost every single one of them has a story of hardship. They've lost. They've failed. They've been knocked down. Sometimes in ways that would make most people give up completely. But they didn't just survive. They thrived. And not in spite of the pain, but because of it. Adversity has a strange way of revealing who we truly are. When everything is going well, it's easy to look strong. But when life falls apart, that's when your character is exposed. Challenges strip away the surface and force you to face yourself. They reveal your weaknesses, but they also give you the opportunity to build incredible strength. Here's the shift you need to make. Stop seeing adversity as punishment and start seeing it as training. Every setback is like a weight in the gym. It's heavy, it's uncomfortable, and sometimes it feels like too much to bear. But if you push through, you grow stronger. Your resilience builds. Your confidence deepens. You become someone who can handle more than you ever thought possible. It's not about enjoying the pain or pretending to be happy when things go wrong. It's about using the experience to propel you forward. Maybe you've been rejected from a job you really wanted. Instead of dwelling on the unfairness, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me better? Maybe you faced a financial setback. Instead of giving up, let that hunger drive you to build smarter, stronger strategies for the future. Adversity also teaches you gratitude. When you've walked through dark seasons, you appreciate the light even more. When you've lost something, you value what you still have. Pain has a way of sharpening your perspective and reminding you of what truly matters. One of the most powerful things you can do when facing a challenge is to reframe it. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "How is this happening for me?" This question doesn't erase the pain, but it shifts your focus. It turns you from a victim into a student. It pushes you to find meaning in the struggle and to grow because of it. Remember, every great success story has chapters of struggle. Those moments are not detours, they're part of the path. Without them, the victory wouldn't have the same depth. Without them, you wouldn't become the person you need to be to handle the success that's coming. So when life knocks you down, don't stay down. Take the pain, take the frustration, take the anger, and use it. Let it light a fire inside you. Let it remind you why you started in the first place. Turn your adversity into fuel that drives you further than you ever imagined. The truth is, you don't need a perfect life to succeed. You don't need ideal circumstances. What you need is the courage to rise every time you fall, and the wisdom to turn every challenge into a lesson. When you can do that, adversity stops being your enemy. It becomes your greatest ally. And that's when you realize the very things that tried to break you were actually building you all along. Chapter 6. Outwork everyone. But work smart. There's no way around it. You have to put in the work. No dream, no goal, no vision becomes reality without effort. But here's the truth. Most people don't want to hear. Hard work alone isn't enough. You can grind endlessly and still stay stuck if you're working on the wrong things or in the wrong way. To win, you must outwork everyone. Yes, but you must also work smart. Think of hard work like fuel. It powers you forward. But if your car is pointed in the wrong direction, you'll just burn energy and end up nowhere near your destination. That's what happens to so many people. They stay busy, they hustle, they wear their exhaustion like a badge of honor, but they're not making real progress because they haven't stopped to think strategically about where their energy is going. The first step to working smart is clarity. You need to know exactly what matters most. Not everything on your to-do list is equally important. Some tasks move you closer to your goals, while others just keep you distracted. Before you dive into action, pause and ask yourself, if I could only accomplish one thing today, what would make the biggest difference? Then focus your effort there. This simple habit can change everything. Once you know what matters, that's when the hard work comes in. And make no mistake, you'll need to push yourself beyond your comfort zone. Most people stop when they get tired. Winners keep going. They stay late when others clock out. They practice long after others quit. They do the extra reps, make the extra calls, take the extra steps, because they know success isn't handed out. It's earned through relentless effort. But here's the key. It's not about burning yourself out. It's about being intentional. If you simply work harder without thinking, you'll end up exhausted and frustrated. Working smart means finding leverage. It means asking, how can I get the maximum result from every ounce of effort I put in? Sometimes that means delegating tasks, automating systems, or learning a more efficient skill. Sometimes it means saying no to opportunities that seem good, but aren't aligned with your bigger vision. Think of it like planting seeds. You could scatter seeds randomly and hope for the best, or you could study the soil, plant in the right season, and care for each one carefully. Both approaches require effort, but only one produces a thriving harvest. Your life works the same way. Effort matters, but strategy multiplies that effort. Another important piece of working smart is rest. It may sound strange, but rest is part of the work. If you never recharge, your energy and creativity will drain, and your performance will suffer. The most successful people aren't just relentless workers, they're also disciplined about recovery. They know when to sprint and when to pause, when to push hard, and when to step back and reflect. Here's a truth you need to embrace. There will always be someone more talented than you. There will always be someone with more connections, more money, more advantages. But they can't control how hard you work, or how strategically you move. That's where your power lies. If you're willing to outwork them and outthink them, you can surpass people who seemed untouchable at the start. It's not about competing with everyone else, though. It's about competing with yourself. Every day, aim to be a little better than you were yesterday. Track your progress. Celebrate small wins, but don't settle. Success is built through thousands of quiet, consistent efforts that no one else sees. By the time the world notices, it's already too late for them to catch up. So here's the challenge. Don't just be busy, be effective. Don't just work hard, work smart. Plan your moves, focus your energy, and push yourself further than you ever thought possible. While others are wasting time chasing distractions or waiting for luck, you'll be building unstoppable momentum. And when the results start showing, people will call you lucky or gifted, but you'll know the truth. You outworked them, and you outsmarted them. Remember, success doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't care how tired you are, how unfair the world feels, or how many obstacles you face. It responds only to action, consistent, focused, intelligent action. Outwork everyone, work smart, and keep moving forward until there's no question about who deserves to win. Chapter 7. Build resilience that never breaks. Life will test you again and again. It doesn't matter how talented you are, how carefully you plan, or how hard you work. There will be days when nothing goes your way. You'll face rejection, failure, and setbacks that feel like they're trying to crush you. In those moments, one thing will determine whether you keep going or give up: resilience. Resilience is the ability to bend without breaking, to get knocked down and rise again, no matter how hard the fall. It's not about avoiding pain or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about facing reality head-on and saying, "This won't defeat me." Without resilience, every setback becomes a wall. With it, every setback becomes a stepping stone. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are, their stories aren't smooth and easy. They've faced hardships that would have stopped most people. But instead of letting life destroy them, they built an inner strength that allowed them to keep moving forward. That's what makes resilience so powerful. It's not given to you, it's forged through experience. The first step to building resilience is accepting that struggle is part of the process. Too many people waste energy wishing life were easier. They think, if only I didn't have these problems, I'd be successful. But here's the truth. Problems are not a sign you're failing. They're a sign you're growing. Challenges are proof that you're pushing beyond your comfort zone. Once you accept that, you stop resisting and start adapting. Resilience also comes from perspective. When you face a setback, it's easy to blow it out of proportion and think, this is the end. But almost nothing is as permanent or catastrophic as it feels in the moment. Step back and look at the bigger picture. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? What can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? These questions don't erase the pain, but they help you process it in a way that empowers you instead of paralyzing you. Another key to resilience is emotional control. When things go wrong, your emotions will try to take over. Anger, fear, frustration. They'll all rise up and cloud your judgment. If you let them run wild, you'll make rash decisions you'll regret later. But if you can pause, breathe and stay calm under pressure, you gain an incredible advantage. Resilience isn't about being emotionless. It's about feeling deeply without losing your clarity. Your environment plays a role too. It's hard to stay strong when you're surrounded by negativity. People who constantly complain, blame, or doubt will drag you down with them. Seek out relationships that lift you up instead. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to be better and remind you of your strength when you forget it yourself. Even one supportive voice can make a huge difference when you're struggling. One of the most powerful ways to build resilience is to focus on what you can control. When you pour energy into things beyond your control, like other people's opinions, the economy, or random bad luck, you drain yourself. But when you zero in on your own actions, thoughts, and choices, you take back your power. This mindset keeps you grounded, no matter what chaos swirls around you. Here's a secret. Resilience grows through action. You don't become stronger by reading about resilience or thinking positive thoughts. You become stronger by facing hard things, surviving them, and realizing you're tougher than you thought. Every challenge you overcome adds a brick to the fortress of your inner strength. Over time, you'll look back and be amazed at what you've endured and how unshakable you've become because of it. Remember, resilience doesn't mean you never feel tired or discouraged. It means you feel those things and keep going anyway. It's okay to rest, to cry, to take a moment to breathe. But then you stand back up and take the next step. That's what separates those who succeed from those who quit. Life will not get easier. The challenges will keep coming, but you can get stronger. You can build a resilience so deep that no storm can uproot you. And when you have that kind of resilience, you don't just survive adversity, you thrive in it. You rise above it. You turn pain into power and setbacks into comebacks. When you build resilience that never breaks, you become unstoppable. The world can throw its worst at you, and you'll still keep moving forward. Because deep down, you'll know this unshakable truth. You are stronger than anything that tries to defeat you. Chapter 8. Learn faster than your competition. In today's world, the greatest advantage you can have isn't strength, talent, or even money. It's speed. The speed at which you can learn, adapt, and grow will determine how far you go. Think about it. Industries are shifting, technology is evolving, and opportunities are appearing and disappearing faster than ever. If you're slow to learn, you'll always be one step behind. But if you can learn quickly, you become unstoppable. The people who rise to the top aren't necessarily the smartest or the most gifted. They're the ones who are willing to keep learning when everyone else thinks they already know enough. They stay curious. They stay open. They don't cling to the way things have always been done. Instead, they ask, what's working now? What's changing? What can I do better? That mindset keeps them ahead of the game. The problem is, most people stop learning after they finish school. They think their education ends with a diploma or a degree. From that point on, they just go through the motions, doing the same things day after day, year after year, and then they wonder why their lives don't change. The truth is, if you want to win, you must become a lifelong student. Learning isn't something you did once. It's something you do every single day. But here's the good news. You don't have to spend hours buried in books or sitting in classrooms to learn faster. Learning is about awareness and action. It's about paying attention to what works and what doesn't, and adjusting in real time. Every experience, every success, every failure is a lesson if you're willing to see it that way. One of the fastest ways to learn is by seeking feedback. Most people hate feedback because it exposes their weaknesses. But feedback is priceless. It's like a map that shows you where you're strong and where you need to improve. The sooner you accept it, the faster you can grow. Don't wait for people to give it to you. Go out and ask for it. Ask your mentors, your peers, even your critics. The truth may sting, but it will set you free. Another key to learning faster is modeling success. Why struggle to figure everything out on your own when others have already paved the way? Find people who are where you want to be and study what they've done. Read their books, watch their interviews, listen to their stories, learn from their mistakes and their victories. Success leaves clues, but only if you're paying attention. And here's something most people overlook. To truly learn fast, you have to unlearn. Sometimes the biggest obstacle to growth isn't what you don't know, it's what you think you know that isn't true. Old beliefs, outdated habits, and rigid thinking can hold you back more than ignorance ever could. Be willing to question your assumptions. Be willing to let go of methods that no longer work. Staying adaptable is just as important as gaining new knowledge. Of course, learning doesn't mean hoarding information. Knowledge is useless if you don't apply it. Too many people read books, attend seminars, watch videos, and then do nothing with what they've learned. Real learning comes through action. You must take what you've learned and put it into practice immediately. Test it. See what happens. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't, adjust and try again. Here's a simple rule to live by: learn, apply, refine, repeat. This cycle creates unstoppable momentum. The faster you move through it, the faster you grow, and the faster you grow, the harder it is for anyone to compete with you. Don't forget, learning fast isn't just about gaining skills for your career or business. It's about becoming a better version of yourself in every area of life. Learn how to communicate better. Learn how to manage your emotions. Learn how to build relationships, handle money, and lead others. Every lesson you master makes you more capable and more powerful. The world is changing quickly. What worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. If you cling to the past, you'll get left behind. But if you commit to learning faster than the people around you, you'll always stay ahead. While others are still complaining about the way things used to be, you'll be busy adapting, growing, and seizing new opportunities. So never stop learning. Never stop questioning. Never stop evolving. Make learning a daily habit, just like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. Because the faster you learn, the faster you'll win. And when you make learning a way of life, luck won't determine your success, you will. Chapter 9. Surround yourself with winners. No matter how strong, talented, or driven you are, you can't escape one simple truth: the people around you shape you, like it or not. You become a reflection of the company you keep. Your thoughts, your habits, even your expectations for yourself are influenced by the circle you surround yourself with. If you want to win, you must surround yourself with winners. Think about it for a moment. If you spend most of your time around people who complain, settle for less, and make excuses, what will happen? Slowly, without even realizing it, their mindset becomes your mindset. Their limits become your limits. You start thinking, talking, and acting like them. Not because you want to, but because that's what constant exposure does. Energy is contagious, both the positive and the negative kind. On the other hand, imagine spending your time with people who dream big, take action, and push themselves to grow. People who refuse to settle, who hold themselves to a higher standard. When you're in that environment, you rise to meet it. You think bigger, you work harder, you believe in yourself more, because you see what's possible. Here's a powerful truth: your environment will either pull you up or drag you down. There's no neutral ground. That's why you have to be intentional about who you let into your inner circle. You don't need to cut everyone out of your life, but you do need to create distance between yourself and those who constantly bring negativity, drama, or discouragement. Sometimes this is the hardest part of growth. It's not just about building new habits or setting new goals. It's about realizing that some of the people you've always been close to might not belong in your next chapter. They might care about you deeply, but if their vision for life is small, they'll unconsciously hold you back. And here's the thing: you don't need anyone's permission to grow. Surrounding yourself with winners doesn't mean only being around people who are already successful in the traditional sense. It means being around people with a winning mindset. They might not have achieved all their dreams yet, but they're hungry. They're learning, improving, and taking bold action. These are the people who inspire you to keep moving forward, even when you feel like quitting. One practical step you can take is to seek out environments where growth is the norm. Join communities, groups, or organizations where ambitious, positive people gather. It could be a business mastermind, a fitness group, a book club, or even an online community. The point is to regularly put yourself in rooms, physical or virtual, where excellence is expected and celebrated. But here's a key point. Don't just look for what you can get from others. Look for what you can give. Relationships built on mutual value and respect are the strongest. Be someone who encourages, supports, and challenges the people around you. When you add value to others, you naturally attract people who do the same for you. You might be thinking, what if I don't know anyone like that yet? That's okay. Start by learning from people you admire, even if you don't know them personally. Read their books, listen to their podcasts, watch their interviews. Let their voices fill your mind until you naturally start thinking the way they think. Over time, as you grow, you'll begin to attract like-minded people into your life. Also, pay attention to the subtle ways your environment influences you. What kind of conversations are you having daily? Are they about ideas, goals, and solutions, or are they mostly complaints and gossip? What kind of content are you consuming online or on TV? Are you filling your mind with inspiration and knowledge, or with negativity and distraction? Your environment isn't just people, it's everything you expose yourself to. When you surround yourself with winners, something powerful happens. Your standards rise. You stop tolerating mediocrity because you see others striving for greatness. Their energy fuels your own. Their victories remind you that success is possible, and when you start to win, you'll become a source of inspiration for someone else. Here's the bottom line. You don't have to walk this path alone, but you do have to be selective about who walks it with you. Choose people who challenge you, believe in you, and remind you of your potential. Build a circle that pushes you to become the best version of yourself. Remember, your future is too important to leave to chance. Surround yourself with winners, and you'll rise higher than you ever thought possible. Stay around negativity, and you'll stay stuck. The choice is yours, and it's one of the most powerful choices you'll ever make. Chapter 10. Focus on what you can control. One of the biggest reasons people feel stressed, overwhelmed, and stuck is because they spend most of their energy on things they have absolutely no control over. They worry about what others think of them. They obsess over problems they can't fix. They get caught up in the news, in other people's decisions, in situations far outside their reach. And while they're busy spinning their wheels, they neglect the one thing that truly matters, their own actions. Here's the truth. There are two circles in life. The first circle contains everything you can't control, other people's opinions, the past, the economy, random events, luck. The second circle contains the things you can control, your thoughts, your choices, your effort, your attitude. Winners live in the second circle, losers live in the first. The more time you spend focusing on things you can't control, the more powerless you'll feel. But the more you focus on what's within your power, the stronger and more effective you become. Think about it like this. If you were sailing a boat, you couldn't control the wind or the waves. You couldn't stop a storm from coming. But you could adjust your sails. You could steer the boat. You could decide how to respond. Life works the exact same way. You'll never control every challenge that comes your way, but you can always control how you navigate through it. The problem is, many people don't realize how much energy they waste on the uncontrollable. They check social media and get upset over someone else's success. They watch the news and spiral into fear and anger about events happening thousands of miles away. They replay past mistakes in their minds, wishing they could go back and change them. All of that energy could be used to build something better, but instead, it's poured down the drain. Focusing on what you can control is a skill, and like any skill, it gets stronger with practice. The first step is awareness. Pay attention to where your mind goes throughout the day. When you feel stressed or frustrated, stop and ask yourself, is this something I can directly control? If the answer is no, release it. Shift your focus back to something you can control. For example, you can't control whether your boss is in a bad mood, but you can control the effort and attitude you bring to your work. You can't control if someone criticizes you, but you can control whether you let their words define you. You can't control whether the world throws a curveball your way, but you can control how prepared and adaptable you are when it happens. This mindset doesn't just reduce stress, it gives you power. When you stop trying to fix everything outside of you, you free up energy to take meaningful action where it counts. Instead of complaining about how unfair life is, you focus on building skills, making progress, and moving forward. Here's a powerful truth: the people who seem lucky aren't lucky at all, they're simply focused. While everyone else is distracted by gossip, negativity, and uncontrollable chaos, they stay locked in on their own growth and goals. And over time, their focused effort compounds into massive results. Of course, this isn't easy. It's natural to care about things you can't control. It's natural to feel angry when someone treats you unfairly, or scared when the world feels uncertain. But you don't have to stay in those feelings. You can acknowledge them, then redirect your focus to what matters most: your response. Think about a time in your past when you faced a tough situation. Maybe you didn't get the outcome you wanted. Looking back, did worrying change anything? Probably not. But if you had focused all that energy on constructive action, how different might things have been? When you focus on what you can control, you also become a calmer, stronger presence for others. Instead of adding to the chaos, you become the steady hand in the storm. People naturally gravitate toward those who stay grounded, and your example can inspire them to do the same. So starting today, make a decision. Stop giving your power away to things you can't change. Stop obsessing over what others are doing or what might happen tomorrow. Bring all your attention back to your circle of control, your thoughts, your choices, your actions. Every great achievement is built on this principle. You can't control the timing of opportunities, but you can control how prepared you are when they appear. You can't control the outcome of every risk you take, but you can control whether you show up and give your best effort. The world will always be unpredictable. There will always be storms you can't stop and waves you can't tame. But when you focus on steering your own ship, you'll find peace and progress, even in the roughest waters. That's how winners live. They don't waste their lives trying to control the wind. They master the sail, and in doing so, they create their own path forward, no matter what the world throws their way. Chapter 11. Turn consistency into momentum. Success doesn't come from what you do once in a while. It comes from what you do day after day, even when no one's watching, even when you don't feel like it. The secret to lasting success isn't intensity, it's consistency. Anyone can show up motivated for a week. Anyone can push hard for a short burst of time. But the ones who win, the ones who rise above the rest, are those who keep showing up long after the excitement fades. Think of consistency like pushing a heavy flywheel. At first, it barely moves. You push, and it feels like nothing's happening. It's frustrating. You start wondering if it's even worth the effort. But if you keep going, a shift begins. The flywheel starts to turn, slowly at first, then faster. With every push, it gains speed. Eventually, the momentum takes over, and what was once hard becomes almost effortless. That's the power of consistency. It creates unstoppable momentum. The mistake most people make is expecting instant results. They start a new habit or a new goal, and when they don't see dramatic changes right away, they quit. They think, this isn't working, but the truth is, progress is often invisible at first. Just because you can't see the results doesn't mean the work isn't paying off. Consistency is like planting seeds. You don't see the tree the same day you plant it. Growth takes time, and patience is part of the process. Here's what you need to understand. Motivation will come and go, but consistency has to stay. You won't always feel like doing the work. There will be mornings when you want to sleep in, days when you want to skip the gym, moments when you'd rather take the easy way out. That's normal. The key is to act anyway. Success isn't about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you choose to do despite your feelings. One powerful strategy is to lower the barrier to action. People fail because they make their goals too complicated. They try to change everything at once, and when it becomes overwhelming, they give up. Instead, focus on small, repeatable actions. If you want to get in shape, commit to just 10 minutes of exercise a day. If you want to write a book, start with 1 page a day. These small steps might seem insignificant, but over time they add up to massive change. Consistency also requires structure. Relying on willpower alone is a losing game. Build routines that make your desired actions automatic. If you want to eat healthier, plan your meals in advance so you're not making decisions when you're tired and hungry. If you want to grow a business, schedule time each day to work on it no matter what. By creating a system, you remove the need to constantly negotiate with yourself. Another thing to remember is that consistency isn't about perfection. You will slip up. You will miss a day. That's okay. The danger isn't in missing once. It's in letting one miss turn into 2, then 3, then quitting altogether. The rule is simple. Never miss twice. If you fall off track today, get back on tomorrow. That's how you maintain momentum. Momentum is magical because it multiplies effort. When you first start, every action feels hard, but as you build consistency, it gets easier. Habits take over, wins build confidence. Before long, you'll find yourself doing things automatically that once felt impossible. This is when the results start to snowball. People on the outside will think you got lucky or found a shortcut. They won't see the months or years of steady effort that built the momentum behind your success. Imagine pushing a car that's stuck in the mud. At first it barely budges. You dig deep, straining with all your strength, and it feels like you're going nowhere. But if you keep pushing, inch by inch, eventually the wheels catch traction. The car moves, and suddenly it's rolling on its own. That's what momentum feels like in life. So as you chase your goals, stop focusing on speed and start focusing on consistency. Don't worry about how far you have to go. Just take the next step, and then the next. Over time, those steps will turn into miles. The small wins will build into big victories. And one day, you'll look back and realize that your steady, consistent effort has created an unstoppable force propelling you forward. Consistency may not be flashy. It's not dramatic or exciting, but it's the quiet power that builds empires, transforms lives, and turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Be consistent long enough, and momentum will do the rest. That's when you become truly unstoppable. Chapter 12. Create value that can't be ignored. If you want lasting success, you must understand this. The world doesn't reward people for what they want. It rewards people for the value they create. Too many people spend their lives chasing recognition, money, or opportunities, while overlooking the one thing that guarantees all of those things becoming valuable. When you focus on creating value, you'll never have to beg for success. Success will come looking for you. Think about the most successful people you know or admire. Whether they're entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, or leaders, they have one thing in common: they solve problems. They make people's lives better in some way. That's what value is: meeting a need, solving a challenge, or providing something others deeply care about. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. If it matters to people, it has value. The mistake most people make is thinking only about themselves. They ask, "What can I get?" instead of, "What can I give?" They show up to work focused on their paycheck, instead of the results they're delivering. They start a business just to make money rather than to truly serve their customers. This mindset keeps them stuck because people can sense when you're only in it for yourself. When you flip the script and focus on giving, everything changes. You start asking different questions. What do people need? How can I help them? How can I create something so useful, so impactful, that they can't ignore me? When you live with this mindset, opportunities naturally flow your way. People want to work with you, buy from you, and support you because you've proven your worth through action, not words. Here's the truth. Money is a byproduct of value. If you chase money directly, it will always feel elusive. But if you focus on becoming incredibly valuable, money will follow you like a shadow. Think of it like planting seeds. Value is the seed. Money, recognition, and opportunities are the harvest. You can't reap before you sow. Creating value starts with skill. You must develop abilities that set you apart. The more rare and relevant your skills are, the more valuable you become. This doesn't mean you need to be the absolute best in the world, but you do need to be better than most, and always improving. Never stop learning, practicing, and refining your craft. In a world where most people settle for average, excellence stands out like a beacon. But value isn't just about technical skills. It's also about your mindset and attitude. You can be talented, but if you're unreliable or difficult to work with, your value drops. Be the person who shows up prepared, who goes the extra mile, who brings solutions instead of problems. Reliability is a form of value that many underestimate. People want to work with those they can count on. Another way to create undeniable value is to solve bigger problems. The size of the problem you solve often determines the size of the reward you receive. If you solve small problems, you'll receive small rewards. If you solve massive problems that affect many people, the rewards will grow accordingly. This doesn't mean you have to start a global company tomorrow, but it does mean you should always be looking for ways to make a greater impact. It's also important to understand that creating value requires patience. Sometimes you'll put in effort for weeks, months, even years before you see results. In the beginning it might feel like no one notices, but if you stay consistent, keep giving, and keep improving, eventually your value will become impossible to ignore. People will start seeking you out because you've built a reputation for excellence. One powerful habit is to treat every interaction as an opportunity to add value. Whether you're talking to a client, a friend, or a stranger, ask yourself, how can I leave this person better than I found them? It could be through your knowledge, your encouragement, or simply your presence. Over time, these small moments build into something much bigger. Here's the beautiful part. When you focus on creating value, you stop worrying about competition. You don't have to fight for scraps, because you're not trying to take, you're giving. And people are naturally drawn to givers. Your unique combination of skills, perspective, and effort becomes something no one else can replicate. So as you move forward, stop chasing validation. Stop waiting for someone to notice you. Instead, focus entirely on becoming so good, so helpful, and so consistent that you can't be ignored. When you create value at that level, doors will open that you never even knew existed. Remember, success isn't about what you take from the world, it's about what you contribute to it. The more value you create, the more the world will reward you in return. Focus on giving first, and trust that the rewards will come, because they always do. Chapter 13. Win quietly, let results speak. We live in a world where everyone wants to be seen. Social media has turned life into a stage, and too many people spend their energy performing rather than building. They talk about their goals, post about their hustle, and announce every step they take, hoping for likes, validation, or applause. But here's the truth. Real winners don't need to tell everyone what they're doing. They let their results speak for them. There is incredible power in moving in silence. When you work quietly, you avoid distractions. You don't waste energy trying to impress others. You don't get caught up in competition or comparison. Instead, you stay focused on the only thing that truly matters, doing the work. And when the results finally show, they speak louder than any words ever could. Think about the people who inspire you most. Often they weren't the loudest in the room when they were starting out. They were in the shadows, grinding when no one was watching, building step by step. Then one day, they seemed to come out of nowhere with massive success. It wasn't magic or luck. It was years of quiet, consistent effort finally becoming visible. The problem with talking too much about your plans is that it creates a false sense of accomplishment. When you announce a big goal, you get a quick hit of praise and encouragement. It feels good, like you've already achieved something, but that feeling can actually steal your motivation to keep going. It tricks your brain into thinking the hard work is already done, when in reality, it hasn't even begun. Another danger of sharing too much is the criticism and doubt you'll attract. The more you talk, the more opinions you invite. Some people will try to discourage you, not because they don't believe in you, but because your ambition reminds them of their own fears or failures. Others may actively root for you to fail. When you work in silence, you shield yourself from that noise. You create a safe space to grow without interference. This doesn't mean you have to isolate yourself completely. Trusted mentors, partners, or friends are valuable. Share your goals with the people who truly support you and want to see you win. But the world at large doesn't need to know every detail of your journey. Protect your vision like a seed. It needs time to grow roots before it's strong enough to face the elements. There's also a psychological advantage to quiet work. When you're not broadcasting your every move, you create a sense of mystery. People begin to notice your progress without fully understanding how you're doing it. This builds intrigue and respect. It's far more powerful for others to wonder about your success than to know every step you took to get there. Working silently also keeps you humble. It reminds you that the process is more important than the spotlight. The moment you start chasing attention, you risk compromising your values or cutting corners just to look successful. True success is built on integrity and perseverance, not image. Imagine two people training for a marathon. One posts daily updates, selfies and motivational quotes, soaking up praise while secretly skipping some workouts. The other trains quietly, showing up day after day, no fanfare, no announcements. On race day, who do you think will perform better? The one who was busy impressing people, or the one who was busy preparing? Your life works the same way. When you focus on the work, the results take care of themselves. When you focus on the appearance of success, you rob yourself of the real thing. The beautiful part about letting your results speak is that they're undeniable. People can argue with your words, but they can't argue with what you've achieved. When you show up with proof, the doubters go silent. The critics disappear. Your success becomes the loudest voice in the room. So as you chase your dreams, resist the urge to announce every step. Don't waste energy proving yourself to people who don't matter. Pour that energy into your craft, your growth, your mission. Move quietly, stay focused, and let the work do the talking. Because in the end, noise fades, attention fades, but results, real, lasting results, speak forever. And when you win quietly, your victory will echo louder than any words you could have spoken. Chapter 14. Scale your success without losing yourself. Success is a beautiful thing, but it can also be dangerous. The very thing you've been working toward for years can become the thing that destroys you if you're not careful. Many people fight hard to reach a certain level of achievement, only to lose themselves in the process. They sacrifice their peace, their values, and even their happiness just to keep climbing higher. That's why scaling your success isn't just about growing bigger, it's about growing wiser. When you finally start seeing results, it's exciting. The doors you once knocked on start to open. People notice your work. Opportunities come flooding in. It feels like everything is moving fast, and that rush can be intoxicating. But here's the trap. If you try to grab every opportunity, say yes to everyone, and keep pushing without a plan, you'll burn out. Worse, you'll end up chasing growth for the sake of growth, forgetting why you started in the first place. The first step to scaling success is clarity. You must know what matters most to you. What's the vision you're building? What kind of life do you want your success to support? If you don't define this clearly, other people will define it for you. They'll pull you in 100 different directions, and before you know it, you'll be building someone else's dream instead of your own. As you grow, you'll also face more distractions disguised as opportunities. Not every chance that comes your way is meant for you. Sometimes, saying no is the smartest move you can make. Think of success like a garden. If you plant too many seeds in a small space, none of them will grow properly. You have to focus on nurturing the few things that truly matter so they can flourish. Another key to scaling wisely is building systems. Early on, you might be able to handle everything yourself. But as you grow, that approach will backfire. If you try to do it all alone, you'll hit a ceiling. You'll run out of time, energy, and creativity. The solution is to create processes and structures that allow your success to expand without consuming you. This might mean delegating tasks, automating parts of your work, or building a strong team you trust. But while systems and strategy are essential, there's something even more important: staying grounded. Success will test your character. People will praise you, criticize you, and try to influence you. If you don't have a solid foundation, you'll start to lose yourself in the noise. That's why you must keep checking in with your values. Ask yourself regularly, am I proud of the person I'm becoming? If the answer is no, it's time to realign. One of the best ways to stay grounded is to maintain the habits that got you here in the first place. Don't abandon the basics just because you've reached a higher level. If morning routines, learning, or consistent practice helped you grow, keep them in place. Success isn't a finish line, it's a process you must keep nurturing. It's also important to remember that scaling success doesn't mean working harder forever. It means working smarter. As you grow, look for leverage. How can you make a bigger impact with less effort? Maybe that means reaching more people through technology, teaching others what you've learned, or creating something that continues to serve even when you're not directly involved. This is how you build lasting success that doesn't trap you in constant hustle. At the same time, protect your personal life. It's easy to let success consume every hour of your day, but relationships, health, and inner peace are just as important as achievements. What good is winning the world if you lose yourself along the way? Set boundaries. Make time for the people and activities that fill your soul. Remember, success is supposed to enhance your life, not replace it. Finally, give back. One of the most fulfilling parts of scaling success is using your growth to help others grow. Mentor someone, share your knowledge, contribute to causes you care about. When you make your success about more than just yourself, it becomes sustainable, it becomes meaningful. Scaling your success is a balancing act. It's about expanding without exploding, growing without forgetting who you are. When you do it right, you create not just a bigger life, but a better one, a life where your achievements and your inner peace grow side by side. And that is the kind of success that truly lasts. Chapter 15. Leave a legacy that outlives you. At some point in your journey, you'll realize that success isn't just about what you gain. It's about what you leave behind. Money, titles, possessions, even fame. These things fade. They may matter for a moment, but when your time on earth comes to an end, none of them will define you. What will truly matter is the impact you made on others, the lives you touched, and the example you set. That's what a legacy is. It's the story people tell about you when you're no longer here to tell it yourself. Leaving a legacy doesn't mean you have to be famous or build a billion-dollar company. It's not about the size of your achievements. It's about the depth of your influence. A teacher who inspires students to believe in themselves. A parent who raises children with strong values. A leader who empowers others to rise higher. These people leave legacies every single day, often without realizing it. The truth is, you are building a legacy right now, whether you're intentional about it or not. Every action you take, every word you speak, every choice you make, is shaping the way you'll be remembered. The question is, are you building a legacy you'll be proud of? To leave a lasting legacy, you must first live with purpose. Most people drift through life, focused only on themselves, what they want, what they need, how they can get ahead. But when you shift your focus outward, everything changes. Ask yourself, how can my life make a difference? How can my success create opportunities for others? When you live with this mindset, your actions ripple out far beyond you. One powerful way to build a legacy is by sharing what you've learned. Knowledge is one of the greatest gifts you can give. Think about the lessons you've gained through your struggles, your victories, and even your failures. When you pass that wisdom on, you help others avoid mistakes and reach their potential faster. Your experiences become a roadmap for those who come after you. But a true legacy isn't just about words, it's about example. People will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you lived. If you want to inspire others to be courageous, live courageously. If you want to teach integrity, live with integrity. If you want to encourage generosity, be generous. The way you show up every day speaks louder than any speech or lesson ever could. Here's something many people overlook. Legacy begins at home. It's easy to focus on impressing the world while neglecting the people closest to you. But the way you treat your family, your friends, and your community will be the foundation of how you're remembered. Success means very little if it comes at the cost of broken relationships and bitterness. Another key to leaving a legacy is contribution. What will you give back to the world that gave you so much? Maybe it's mentoring someone who reminds you of your younger self. Maybe it's building something that solves a problem for future generations. Maybe it's quietly helping those in need without expecting anything in return. Contribution doesn't have to be flashy to be meaningful. You must also understand that legacy requires courage. Living a life that matters often means standing up for what you believe, even when it's unpopular. It means taking risks, challenging the status quo, and refusing to settle for mediocrity. When you choose the harder, higher path, you inspire others to do the same. And here's the beautiful part. When you focus on leaving a legacy, you naturally rise higher yourself. The pursuit of impact pulls you out of selfishness and into greatness. It reminds you that your life has meaning far beyond the present moment. So ask yourself today, what do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be known as someone who chased success at any cost, or as someone who lifted others while climbing? Do you want your story to end with you, or to echo for generations to come? The answer lies in how you live today. Legacy isn't built in some far-off future. It's built in the choices you make right now. Every moment is an opportunity to leave a mark, to plant a seed, to create something that will outlive you. When you live for legacy, you stop worrying about luck, competition, or temporary recognition. You focus on building something timeless, and when your time here is done, you'll leave behind more than accomplishments. You'll leave behind a life that continues to inspire long after you're gone. That is the ultimate victory. That is winning without luck. Conclusion. Throughout this audiobook, we've explored the truth about success. And here's what you've learned. Winning isn't about being lucky. It's not about being born into the right family, having the perfect timing, or waiting for some magical break to appear. Winning is about action. It's about decisions, habits, resilience, and the courage to take full responsibility for your life. You now understand that success begins long before the world sees it. It begins with an inner choice, a decision to win before you even start. It grows as you build unshakable belief in yourself, as you take full ownership of every result you create, and as you master the habits that quietly shape your future. It deepens when you learn to turn adversity into fuel, when you outwork and outthink your competition, and when you develop the resilience to keep standing, no matter how many times life knocks you down. You've learned to focus on what truly matters, the actions within your control, the value you create, and the people you choose to surround yourself with. You've seen the power of consistency, the magic of momentum, and the importance of staying grounded as your success grows. And perhaps most importantly, you've discovered that true success isn't just about what you achieve for yourself. It's about what you leave behind, a legacy that inspires, uplifts, and outlives you. The world will try to convince you that success is rare, reserved for the chosen few. Don't believe that lie. The principles you've just studied are timeless, proven, and available to anyone willing to live by them. These are the same truths that great achievers throughout history have lived by, whether they realized it or not. Every teaching in this audiobook can be traced back to one simple idea: your life is in your hands. You don't need luck, because you have something far more powerful. You have the ability to choose, to act, and to persist until you win. From this moment forward, stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop hoping for a lucky break. Take what you've learned here and put it into motion. Build the habits, take the risks, and do the work. Some days will be hard, some seasons will test you, but if you stay committed, the results will come. One day, people will look at your life and call you lucky. They'll think your success happened overnight. They'll never see the countless hours, the sacrifices, the inner battles you fought to create it. And that's okay. Let them think it was luck. You'll know the truth. It was you, your choices, your actions, your refusal to quit. The journey doesn't end here. It begins here. You now hold the blueprint. The next step is yours to take. Go out into the world and win, not by chance, but by design. Build a life so strong, so meaningful, that no one can deny it. And as you do, remember this final truth: luck is uncertain, but your actions are always within your control. You don't need luck, you just need to begin. Now is your time. Go and win.